Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and more Arc Raiders, and this is the Aphelion, the new special legendary weapon of the game, referred to as a high velocity energy round battle rifle, with unique properties compared to the other special weapons. If you didn't see the update, they basically put it in the game because it was an ultra rare spawn chance from specifically the core of the Matriarch, and yeah, no one was finding it. So they've upped the numbers, and now it feels like when you loot the core, you're gonna get one. So I was waiting all day looking at other people's clips and videos trying the weapon out, and my opinion was that it's not that good. I'm kind of disappointed. That was until I got my hands on it myself and actually used it in real PvP and against all of the different kinds of arc. I mean, have you seen the stopping power it has, where it literally causes rocketeers to flip around in the air when you shoot them, interrupting their rocket fire so that you can just free shoot it? I would argue that this is going to be one of your best armor stripping guns. But on its own, it's quite strange. It's going to be hilariously front-loaded in relevance and value against arc, but then suddenly fall off a cliff in relevance and feel. Now you've stripped the armor off. Meanwhile, for PvP, it's hitting hard, but maybe not hard enough or as much as we would like. But then you play at the correct ranges and it's actually incredibly effective. It is a mid-range battle rifle that fires in bursts, right? So if you try to play up close, you're going to face issues. And if you try to fire from too far away, there are downsides. But at that beautiful sweet spot of mid-range, I've been finding incredible success in PvP with this. So here we are in game, let's talk about what's really going on here. This is the Aphelion, a battle rifle, firing in a 2-round burst. So this is what it looks like and sounds like. Honestly, that's phenomenal. Upon inspection, it kind of looks like an antenna that has some batteries in a cylinder shape at its core. And then it's just like stuff slapped on and around it to form some sort of weapon you can hold. So design, feel, sound, top tier. Next, we have the magazine size. You have 10 shots, but it fires in 2-round bursts. So if you stop and pay attention, you can see that I've got 10 shots right now, and now I have 8. Kind of like the venator, but actually correctly consuming your ammo. Yeah, don't know why they didn't nerf that part of the weapon. Just like your other energy weapons then, you could be like down to 4 shots. I reload, it cost me a singular clip, just one of these energy clips, and it's back up to 10 or 5 shots, firing 2 at once. Here's a key point of the weapon. Fires high velocity energy rounds. That is why it has the stopping power you can see against flying enemies and even ground enemies in the context of stripping armor specifically. Look at the way it dismantles a leaper, breaking apart the legs, ripping off the legs essentially, and then you've got the armored core, which we're stripping super effectively. Then it doesn't seem to have like the oomph of raw damage behind that stripping nature like any energy weapon it sims. Now here's a key aspect of the weapon. It has arc armor penetration strong, where the equalizer and the Jupiter specifically have very strong. Yet it has more stopping power than either of them, seemingly due to the high velocity that these energy rounds fly. Now let me take off the vertical grip and the stable stock to show you the base form. You cannot upgrade it, but unlike the other special weapons, you can indeed put attachments on it. When I fire it at range, you're going to see that second bullet goes wide. So the first shot's just going to go where I'm aiming, the second shot goes wide, up above. You saw how it went slightly up and to the left from where I shot. So it has some horizontal recoil as it were, but it has more vertical recoil by comparison. So if you slot in something that helps that vertical recoil massively, well then that second shot is going to land a lot closer to the center shot, as you can see. In my tests, I also used angle grip to help the horizontal more, and that was just less effective. So if you're going to put any attachment in terms of grip, you want to address the vertical recoil. With that then, you have the stock. All this is going to do is help the recoil recovery time and the dispersion recovery. So as I fire and don't move my mouse, it's going to recenter quicker thanks to that stock, and be ready to be fired accurately again a lot faster. So stocks are very important too. It is worth investing in these attachments. What about time to kill? What you have here is a light, medium, and heavy shield. So I'm just going to body shot. And what you'll see is it's going to take 3 clicks. So this is 2 shots with 1 fire. That's 4 shots with 2 fires. And on the third shot, which is 6 hits, that's what finished the light shield. Then we get to a medium shield. This is what most players will be running. So 1 click, 2 click, 3 click, they're done. Body shots. Again, the second shot is hitting, so it's a total of 6 shots hitting. I'm firing only 3 times. That's a kill. This does not account for headshots, obviously. But then we get to heavy shields, where you're going to feel it. So we have 1 click, that's 2 hits. 2 clicks, 4 hits. 3 clicks, 6 hits, and then on that 4th click, when we get 7 and 8, that's when it goes down. So heavy shield really does help against this thing. But medium and light shield, they're functionally the same, so it's fantastic for dealing with your average player at medium range. So if you take a look at some of these PvP clips, you can see how I'm very carefully playing around that correct distance. So as we get into a team fight, I'm not rushing up like a fool. I'm carefully playing at the correct distance and communicating the areas I'm controlling to my team. Whenever they give me that opportunity to land the shots on them, I am absolutely devastating them. So it is fantastic in that medium effective range. But that doesn't mean you can't rush someone. Think about the way you use a shotgun, a toro. You fire, and then he's got a pump, so maybe you roll, jump, or slide, and then you fire again, then he's got a pump again. Playing around that timing like an anvil allows you to peek someone, get the 2 burst off, go into cover, let it reset in that half second, then swing again. You don't want to trade, you want to play around that brief delay, even if that's just a roll in the moment. Longer ranges, I found it to be really effective, especially of course if you crouch and reduce the recoil even more. The key to using it then was to avoid close range fights. So the second weapon that I brought is of course a shotgun, but say a venator. There's also the vulcano, a sticher that's fully upgraded, any close range weapon to help you when you get in that awkward situation when they're trying to full trade with you is worth thinking about. But it is a versatile gun, one that you could run on its own. When it comes to arc then, let's talk about the highs and lows of Aphelion. The highs are when you can strip armor or use the stopping power. So any and all flying arc, your hornets, your wasps, you will absolutely destroy, snitches, it feels amazing, and he calls them to fling around, preventing them even shooting at you. That's the stopping power of the high velocity. But this works so hilariously effectively against even rocketeers, causing them to fling around and not be able to aim and shoot you anymore. It strips the armor so well that you can take the armor off the turbines and then use a different type of shot to destroy it, because it doesn't have the raw damage behind it. At the same time, you could just shoot the core, and as you can see, it does the job. So I like it for shooting the turbine causing a flinch, then shooting the core, shooting a turbine to cause the flinch, shooting the core, that kind of thing. Against ground enemies, it's much more varied. Leapers have so much armor you can strip, the legs and the core eye itself. Once you're past that, the fall off is real. You can still break apart legs and basically dismantle leapers so they can't even function, which feels hilarious, but it's all front loaded. I absolutely dismantle him, and then when it's just raw damage remaining to do, it's a struggle to finish it off. So an anvil, or honestly like light ammo here once I've stripped the armor, would finish it super well. The worst targets for it are bastions and bombardiers. I tried it in quite a few ways, and it takes way too much work to actually break the joints, or even break the battery on the back, because it doesn't have that raw power. Against a bastion, you can shoot through and strip armor, and then use a different caliber really well. Against a bombardier that's not armored, it's just not worth using. So yeah, really up and down. This is why I think for arc killing, it's best used in combination with a different gun that's going to finish it once you've stripped it and broke it apart. But I honestly think it's one of the best weapons for killing rocketeers in the game, especially with the hullcracker nerf, especially with that. And let's not forget, you don't have to play this game solo. If you have a second player in your team or you're like a trio, you will be absolutely stripping and stunning and stopping power everything you're fighting, and your team are going to have an easy time absolutely dismantling it with quote-unquote normal weapons. In that way, it really is competitive with the hullcracker nerfs. That just brings us to the craft and how you get it. Just as a reminder, you get the blueprint from the specific core, the big ball from the Matriarch once you defeat it. With the blueprint learned, you will need Gunsmith level 3, of course. And it's the same parts as the other special weapons, except instead of the Queen reactor, you now need the Matriarch reactor. So it's 3 magnetic accelerator, 3 complex gun parts, and then the 1 Matriarch reactor. People feel that this is very expensive, but I don't know, I'm sat on so many complex gun parts and magnetic accelerator because I pretty much just use them for these. Really, it's getting the reactors that's tough right now with everyone trying to get the Aphelion. But that is my initial impressions and overview of the Aphelion. Really strong in certain areas, has its issues in others. You want to combine it with a second weapon to deal with a now stripped target if we're talking about arc. But honestly, for flyers, it's absolutely top tier. For rocketeers, I think the best weapon for it. When it comes to PvP, incredibly effective at closer to medium range. Can work at long range if you crouch. You will struggle at close range if someone full on trades you. But if you can play in a corner, it's honestly fantastic. And as we saw, it's 3 clicks on target to bring down either a light or medium shield user. So it's great for medium shield users in terms of efficiency. Unlike the equalizer, I would happily run this in my setup. And honestly, I prefer using it over the Jupiter for PvP. But I think it's great. I think it fits into a very unique niche, and the raw stopping power is the best part about it. I hope I've done the weapon justice. If you've enjoyed the video, drop a like. Until next time, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.